What's that?
I was already filming.
Oh dear. So, okay, all right, let's just do this. My name is Nancy, and this is my fiance,
My name's Tyler.
the new fiance. Anyway, so what we wanted to do is we wanted to share with everybody things coming up in our own space, and which we found really, really interesting to share because me and Tyler, we actually spent lots of time together and, coaching each other, learning things, and we did lots of shift within ourselves. So we saw some stuff we talk about is really great, and we just want to share with everybody on this. So what are we talking about today?
What's been kind of for me lately is this notion of people pleasing and moving through this. People pleasing, it has many levels, right? Some people, there's different levels of it. Like people pleasing, you can just be like you just like to make people happy. But there's also a really dark side to that, and that is where you actually are pleasing people at the expense of your own self, right? And that is you're masking your own identity and hiding from your own needs in order to please others, in order to receive their approval. And I started going into this idea of people pleasing and the idea of like Mr. Nice Guy. And it sounds so innocent, right? Mr. Nice Guy. And I started like really doing some research and reading about it and like going into this, and it's really, really dark and deep how far this journey into Mr. Nice Guy can go, right? And now here I am on the other side. I wouldn't say I'm on the other side. It's like a journey. But yeah, it's been really revealing to go through this process, right?
So right now you're missed bad guys, and we say you're coming out on the other side.
All right. Right. So this idea of Mr. Nice Guy, it goes really deep. It's not just as simple as you're a nice person that wants to make people happy. Like it actually goes into the core of your survival, right? So where it comes from in many cases is childhood. Of course, I always talk about childhood because so many of these things that are still playing in our lives today were created from our childhood. And unless you have like a conscious awakening or you actually have like a serious event in your life happen, then you're going to continue living on these scripts that your 6-year-old mind created. And of course, a 6-year-old child is more innocent and fragile than an adult today. So these little coping mechanisms, survival stories that they create, they're not really necessarily based on the whole truth.
So this Mr. Nice Guys, when you actually been working on this last couple of weeks, I don't know what happened. It actually triggers me as well. I think because we are very synchronized, so whatever you're working on, it triggers my system or the particles, right? So that I was also in the space of realizing more about my own people pleasing. So it's very similar to what you said. It's actually coming from the childhood. So really, ultimately, it's actually we don't feel we are enough. And when we were young, in my case, is that my parents didn't have any space for my emotions. So when I make a request out of them, they either shut me down or tell me off. They don't even have a space for their own emotions. So when people are not comfortable with their own emotions, they are not able to provide a space for you.
Right.
But as a child, we didn't know that. So as a child, I was trained to shut down my own emotions, shut down my own requests, my needs. So in order to survive, really, it's about surviving. As a child, you need your parents to survive.
Right.
Right.
It triggers the fear of abandonment.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do these certain things, you're going to be abandoned and ultimately die.
Exactly. So, most of us know this already. Your childhood, how you've been trained, is normally carried, into your adulthood because it's so autopilot, and you don't even know it's there. It's already like so deep engraved into you. You don't even know it's there. It's like imagine yourself when you're driving. in the beginning probably gonna take you 10 hours, 20 hours, 30 hours to drive. However, after you drive for years, you don't even think about it when you're driving, right? Because it's autopilot. It's the same as childhood codependency. And I don't like the word actually, codependency. It makes it sound like we're fucked up, there's something wrong with us. Instead of actually just say, you know what, I've been trained in certain way by my parents when I was young because, you know, they didn't have the opportunities to work on themselves really. So it's not our fault.
Yeah, it's interesting if you think about, we live in this age of technology and information that we can communicate with anybody across the world instantly. Like imagine your parents in the 60s, if that was the generation you grew up in, like what access to information do you have for any of this exploration of higher consciousness?
Well, if you talk about like that about Americans, you guys have a lot more than what we have in China. I don't even know what actually happened in 1960 in China. I remember the first time we got telephone was like after I was born, so 1990s. That's the first time I had a telephone. I don't know where you guys are, but clearly my parents was not connected to, you know, the world. So put that technology and stuff aside for seconds. What I actually discovered for myself is because I've been trained in certain way to neglecting my own needs and to put my attentions onto someone else, especially intimate relationship. So that way I can feel my own self-worth, you know, because I'm being needed from that space. So, I mean, if you're thinking about that, is my needs normally are not important in relationship, and I'm also very attracted to all available men, really. So if you look at people pleasing, most of these people are with a narcissistic partner, or a partner will take advantage of them. It doesn't mean these people are bad people. It's just a polarity, really. Because if you're this side, you're gonna attract this side, and it's pretty bad because it really fucked up your intimate relationship. You never feel fulfilled, really, because your needs is always about making your partner happy.
And that's where the true like codependency comes from too.
I don't like the word codependency. Do you like the word codependency?
Just using it to label what it is.
I know.
And that's
at least my English is not good enough.
That's where that's where the real problem is. Like when you're so dependent on your partner for all of your needs emotionally, when you give everything away to that person, you're dependent on them to give back to you love, approval, everything that you yourself don't provide yourself.
Yeah, and you know the funny thing is that these Miss Nice Guys or Miss Nice Girls or whatever we call them, us, is that on the surface, like, oh, we're such a nice people, we're really nice, but underneath that is what? It's the dark side. This is the interesting part. It's like, what is wrong being kind? But there's a difference between being kind and being nice. So let's talk about the shadow.
So the shadow is the nicest person.
Shadow. Sorry, go.
And the nice guy, who's just so nice to everyone. What's lurking beneath the shadows? Is he really just in his heart like, wow, I just love everyone and just love doing everything for everyone? Or is he secretly resentful and hating people? That's what I've come to find is that there's a lot
That's something you can tell us.
There's a lot of resentment that starts to build in people. Like when this has happened to me in the past, like when I give and give and give and give and give, what it's really doing is I'm giving looking for something in return, and then when I close off the doors of receiving, it doesn't allow for me to actually receive anything in return. So I start to build resentment, right? And when you don't make your needs known, if you're just like, wow, I really would like to do this, but you don't speak up, or if you're like, I really need this and you don't speak up, people walk all over you. And so you keep smiling at them, but really you want to stab them in the heart with a knife. Maybe not that extreme, but like,
it's feel like a pancake.
A pancake?
Yeah.
Tell me.
It's like, because when you say people step over you, it's just imagine like a pancake. I know it's weird. Go on.
Yeah.
I like some comedy, you know,
so like,
this. stuff.
Mm.
Anyway, let's go. Tell me more.
No, that's it. So yeah, it builds resentment, and you get to this point of like, you start to realize that all of these nice guys are not really that nice. You know, I know someone close to me, he goes to work and he smiles all day long and does everything he's told, but then the moment he comes home, he just complains about work. And so it's like, how is that really a nice person, right? There's no kindness in that. That's just doing something in order to
receive something.
To receive something.
So to be honest, the motivation is very self-centered, right? In some ways, this Mrs. Nice, people pleasing, let's say people pleasing, is actually, they're quite, how do I say this? They actually really wanted the attention from other people, because underneath of that is they don't feel they're enough, right? They don't feel their self-worth. So they needed to be nice to other people to receive approval. And where do you think this is going to lead to life? I mean, I have my own experiences on this. I want to talk about something like, say, my work. When I was 8 years old, I had this vision, I want to step onto the stage. I just have this vision, I want to step onto the stage. About a few years ago, I had this vision again, I want to step onto the stage. And I started to make some videos a few years ago, but I stopped because I literally sent to some friends and was looking for approval. And some friends, you know, they can't give me the approval because they don't even approve themselves. You know, as a human, it's really interesting is that if they can't accepting themselves, approving themselves, they're unlikely to give you that. It's very simple. So I was looking for approval from all these friends. And you know, I cannot 10 people say amazing, the content is great. I focus on the 2 people who tell me like things was not great. And that stopped me doing the stuff for 3-4 years. Now I'm back into this space again to make videos. But this time I'm actually doing it from a very different space. You know, it's not an ego driving space. Before, I wanted to have X amount of follower so I can feel really good about myself, because that's really good approval, right? Get so much followers, say, yeah, oh my god, you're amazing, you're so good. But in reality is, this is my ego. So this video is actually coming from a very heart-centered space.
Yeah, we just decided to turn the camera on and see what came up.
You know, some people are probably going to say, oh my god, you guys could be more professional, your face looks so white, what happened to your lighting? You can't even see your eyes properly.
Why are you sitting on the floor when there's a perfectly good couch behind you?
Yeah, because I figured this is a quite good background, right? So, yeah, going back to that space is, my life I can't live my life when I'm just people pleasing. So that is my pen, is that, how am I supposed to live in a life of fulfillment when I'm just constantly looking for approval from other people? I said most people, they never live in their dream, because, you know, when you go into your body, I talked about this before, when you go into your body has all the wisdom. Your head is literally survival, right? So when you go into your body, while I was feeling this space of making videos and content and share the wisdom to everyone, I feel really expansion of energy. I feel really good about myself. But most time, what we do is we go ask people permissions, and these people, they can't give you permissions, and you end up not following your dream. So what you realize is your whole life is built on other people's expectation of you. But to be frank, some people just never gonna like you. Some people just love you. How are you gonna do about that?